Hey, Bob.
Hey, John. How you doing? Happy to be here.
Hey, guys, I'm John Ehrlichman. Welcome to a Parachute TV Spotlight with the one and only Bob Gale, the co-creator of Back to the Future. Guys, we are on the Universal set with all those memorable locations you guys know. Thanks for coming into the room. Jace, nice to see you. Jace, say hi to the great Bob Gale. He is right here. Guys, invite your followers. This is an exclusive Periscope interview with the great Bob Gale, the writer, the producer, the brains behind all those memorable moments. Be sure to invite your followers, guys, and ask questions. For example, they're already asking, will there be another Back to the Future? That's that time when Bob has to be very careful about what he says.
No! No, we're not going to do another Back to the Future. We're not going to do a part 4. We're not going to do a reboot. The trilogy is the trilogy. It's a trilogy that will remain a trilogy. Yeah, we're going to leave well enough alone.
There you go. Seth Cohen, thank you for inviting your followers to this broadcast. You guys should do the same. We're going to take select questions from you directly, not from my mouth, right to him. Bob Gale, the creator of Back to the Future. By the way, guys, we are on the set. I'll turn the camera around so you can get some context. Across the street, you see the gas station. If I were to go down this way, you'll see City Hall, well, I should say, the clock tower right behind us. And if you peek ahead, the DeLorean time machine. Maybe Bob will walk over with us and answer a few questions about that. Okay, here we go. And by the way, we should give a shout out to the Blu-ray trilogy that will be available.
30th anniversary trilogy set. It's also on DVD if you've been too cheap to buy a Blu-ray player. Actually, you should go buy a Blu-ray player because the movies look so damn good.
There you go.
In HD.
And guys, you should know that in theaters, select theaters, Bob, is it correct? In certain cities, you'll be able to
Just
go...
about every city in the United States, I think.
You'll be able to go back to back.
You'll be able to see Back to the Future 1, 2, and or 3. It's kind of up to the individual theaters which movies they're going to run, whether they just run one of them, or whether they run 2 of them, whether they run all 3 of them. There's a lot of them that want to just run part 2 because of the 2015 connection. So yeah, and also on video for the very first time on October 21st is Back to the Future, the animated series. So if you were a little kid way back in 1991-92 and used to watch Saturday morning, you might have seen Back to the Future on CBS, and these are 26 animated episodes with live action wraparounds with Christopher Lloyd as Doc Brown, and the first national exposure of Bill Nye the Science Guy. So they're a lot of fun. If you have kids, they'll love these shows.
We are getting so many questions. Somebody did ask about the DeLorean. Bob, shall we walk over and maybe do a little... We're walking, guys. You'll recall this location. And by the way, right across the street over there, you got a very famous location.
There it is.
As well.
That was the Essex Theater.
Yeah.
Where in 1955, Cattle Queen of Montana was playing.
Yeah.
In 2015, Jaws 19 Holomax was playing, and in 1985, American Orgy, I think, was the when it was a porno theater was the film.
There you go. Okay, guys, keep the questions coming. I'm going to try to work them in as much as possible. Oh, you know, there are some Cubs fans wishing they had access to your wonderful DeLorean time machine. Somebody did actually ask, did you work with John DeLorean on the creation of this?
No. John DeLorean was, I think he was in jail.
Okay.
Actually. We got a fan letter from him, though. It was great. John loved the movie. He loved the fact that we immortalized the car, and let's kill an urban legend right now. And let me credit the actual guys that created this version of the DeLorean. Obviously, John DeLorean created the underlying car.
Yeah.
But the car was designed by Ron Cobb, Andy Probert, Michael Chaffee, and Kevin Feige. So if you ever hear anybody else trying to take credit for it, you'll know that they're full of it, because those 4 names are the guys that actually made the DeLorean into what it is.
There you go. And someone asked the question, does this car drive? It definitely does. Fully functional vehicle.
Yes.
And
here's an interesting little piece of trivia.
Okay.
Go in here close to the speedometer.
Yeah.
And you'll see that It does not go up to 88. The actual.
Oh my gosh, guys, take screenshots. It does not go up to 88.
If you watch a movie carefully, you'll notice that too. So we created this digital speedometer up here. So once the car kicks into high gear, we are using that to show that how close we are to 88 miles per hour.
Okay, guys, and you asked for this, you wanted to take a screenshot out of time. There it is, right there. Grab a screenshot. Guys, don't be shy. Take pictures, share this on Twitter, share it on Periscope. Let's get a big room here, because it's not every day you have a chance to talk
now,
with Bob Gale right
here's
here.
Another neat little piece of trivia about the license plate. When you make a movie and you're going to have a license plate of any sort, you have to get it cleared with the California DMV. But we didn't have to get this one cleared with the California DMV because it has 8 digits on it, and all California plates have 7. So they knew already that we knew already that they wouldn't have a problem with this, and we didn't need clearance.
Okay, we're trying to work in your questions as we go through, guys. Someone was asking about your favorite moments from 1955. In the surrounding area, guys, obviously, it's the brain of the two Bobs, this Bob right here, Bob Gale, and Bob Zemeckis, who were thinking about all those moments and those memories from your childhood. I would imagine.
Actually, I was only 4 years old in October.
What did you?
November
What was sort of as you were sort of dreaming up what this place should look like in your film and films? What was really important to you?
It was just sort of the archetype American town, and so many people would say, "Boy, that looks just like the town that I grew up in." And of course, that's a testament to the smart guys that designed the back lot at Universal to make it so much like every town we've ever seen. The clock tower, by the way. The actual clock
here
on the pediment there was something that we added for Back to the Future. If you watch the movie To Kill a Mockingbird, you will see this structure in there as the courthouse in that movie. There's no clock on it. So that was something that we added,
and now it's permanent.
Well,
it's here.
It's permanent until somebody takes it off.
That's right. Yeah, for movie buffs, because we're here at Universal, this is a location that you have seen. That's right. To Kill a Mockingbird brought us Gremlins, and
I think Inherit the Wind uses it as a courthouse there.
The Buffy film as well. Hey guys, someone's asking. They want you to send a pair of the Nike mags from Back to the Future. Hey, here's actually a good idea. Why don't we go over? We can see the hoverboard.
Okay.
Some of the newspapers you've got. You can show us some of the cool props from the movie. And guys, don't forget, since it is the 30th anniversary, you can buy the trilogy.
October 21st.
On Blu-ray. And check your local movie theater, because you can go and
seeing it with an audience is unbelievable. And for those of you that might be in New York City, on October 15th and October 16th, Radio City Music Hall, Back to the Future in concert. They will run the first movie with a live orchestra playing the actual score while the movie plays.
That is cool.
It is an absolutely astounding experience, and I'm going to be there. Christopher Lloyd is going to be there. James Tolkien, Mr. Strickland, slacker. He's going to be there, and of course the great composer himself, Alan Silvestri, will be there. So if you live in New York or anywhere close to New York, go on the Radio City Music Hall website and get yourself a ticket for October 15th or 16th. It is an experience you will never forget.
Very cool. One of our friends here was saying, well, first of all, you were asked, what's your favorite movie? And I'm sure you're not going to answer that, but you might. And you were also asked wine pairings with the respective movies.
Wine pairings.
I wonder if you've ever had that question before.
That's a new one. That's good. People say, well, Bob, what's your favorite kind of wine? I like the kind that has alcohol in
it. There you go. Guys, invite your followers. This is not every day that you get an exclusive here on Periscope with Bob Gale, the co-creator of Back to the Future, produced them all, the writing brains with Bob Zemeckis. Was it Steven Spielberg who deemed or described you guys as the two Bobs?
Yes.
There you go.
Lots of people did.
Lots of people did. Okay, so now we have the Mattel hoverboard right here. Check it out, guys.
This is a plywood version of the hoverboard. We had, we'll go over and see another one in a few minutes. This was actually used in the movie. It was not designed to be seen from the bottom because we don't have the round magnetic levitation devices that you see when you see the bottom of it. So this would have been hung from wires, or it might have been stuck on a pipe, and either Michael J. Fox or Charlie Crowell, his stunt double, would have ridden on this in one of the hoverboard shots or more.
I guess you were asked a question. I think there's some newspapers we might be able to take a look at, but
Yeah, let's see
while we're waiting for the newspapers,
Let's wander over.
yeah, we'll wander over here. There are some newspapers too, right?
Let me get the phone one first.
You're gonna get the phone one. You were asked by somebody, like, if you ever thought we would be at this point 30 years later, that if you ever thought it would capture the imaginations of so many people and have this life. Yeah.
No, that's an easy one. No, I never thought. Now this is a foam one, and as you can see, this does have the little magnetic deals on there. It also has these feet. So what's that all about, Bob? Well, what's cool about this is that you put it on the ground, and as long as the camera's above it, it's hovering. You can't see those feet.
Love it.
So it's a simple, cheap, special effect, very effective. And so when Marty burns the almanac, we may have used a hoverboard like this when he takes the hoverboard and he throws it down for the first time. And again, it's lightweight, so that you can just pick it up with one hand.
We're going to show some of the newspapers. Someone was saying, am I reading the comments? I am, but as you can imagine, a lot of you are fans, and we want Bob to have a chance to answer. Somebody did ask multiple times about why you chose that year initially.
Well, that's easy. In the first movie, Marty goes back 30 years from 1985 to 1955, and if you remember the first movie, and if you don't, go watch it again, or go see it on October 21st. When Doc Brown drops Marty off at his house, Marty says, "So how far are you going, Doc?" He says, "Oh, 30 years, nice round number." So Doc says in part one that he's going forward to 2015.
There you go.
So
Coldskin.
now the next question that follows from that, well, why October? Is there some special significance to October 21st, 2015? And yes, on a certain level there is, because the whole idea of part two involves sports betting and the idea that the Cubs win the World Series. We predicted a lot of things correctly. One thing that we did not predict is that there would be two sets of playoffs in 2015 instead of one. So if there had only been one set of playoffs in the World Series before the World Series would have concluded right around October 21st, 2015, and so there could be a headline then saying that the Cubs won.
We have a huge audience here, and I'm guessing a good chunk are Cubs fans. I think they are deeply appreciative. Okay, speaking of sports.
Here it is.
Here it is. The Sports Almanac. There it is, guys. Wow.
Now, here
exclusive here on Periscope. Guys, share this broadcast right now with your followers. Let's get more people in this room.
We actually did have our prop guy put sports statistics in here.
Looking ahead, forward thinking.
Well, it's
or they were just
Well, it's out of date now.
Yeah, sure.
15 years old. I mean, and you know, people say, well, what are the mistakes in the movie? What are the things that nobody really pays much attention to? Well, one of my favorite gags is the fact that this is 50 years of sports statistics. It's kind of a thin book to have that much sporting information about baseball, football, boxing, horse racing, and more. We definitely want to put that horse racing there,
of course,
on the cover. We got hockey there too. So yeah, but nobody seems to mind. Maybe they thought in 1989 they'd have some real kind of thin paper, or you could.
People like your shirt, Bob. By the way.
Oh, good. Thank you.
Where did you get your shirt?
You have to ask my wife.
Okay, very good. I answered the same way. Okay, should we look at the newspapers for a second?
All right. This one, I'm going to start with something that's very rare that people have never seen before.
Wow. This exclusive on Periscope, guys. You better share this broadcast.
This is a newspaper that we made for part one that never made it into the movie. As you remember, Peabody saw the DeLorean crash into his barn and decided it was a flying saucer, or his son did. Well, he would have been raving about it to such an extent that we imagined that he would have been taken away to the mental hospital. So this is dated Monday, November 7th, 1955, and we actually created this for a scene that we ended up not that we wrote that we ended up not doing. When Marty follows George home from school, trying to convince him to take Lorraine to the dance, and George refuses, saying neither you nor anybody on this planet can make me change my mind. There was a version of the scene written where the paperboy comes by, throws the newspaper, hits Marty in the head. Marty picks up the newspaper, and this is the headline that he sees. And this flying saucer is what gives him the idea to do the Darth Vader gag.
A lot of people are asking you questions about if these are actual articles, and they look
well
thought out to me.
kind of boilerplates.
Boilerplates,
I mean,
yeah.
but we actually, the first paragraph, it says local farmer Otis Peabody is currently under observation by doctors at the county asylum. Mr. Peabody claims he saw a flying saucer and a spaceman in his barn. Investigators, after a thorough examination of the barn and surroundings, have found no evidence to substantiate Mr. Peabody's claim.
Guys, I think just to break for a second to say, the thought that you put into this is certainly, I think many would argue, one of the factors that helps these movies to stay in people's memories.
And why do we call him Mr. Peabody?
Yes.
There's some of you people out there that ought to be able to figure that one out. Mr. Peabody is called Mr. Peabody as a tribute to the Peabody and Sherman cartoon series that used to be on the Rocky and Bullwinkle thing, and they made, I think Amblin actually made the Mr. Peabody and Sherman movie. So if you don't know what I'm talking about, go on YouTube, Google Peabody and Sherman, and
yeah, they're getting
find
it.
out. Okay.
They're getting it. They know. Hey guys, we're almost done with Bob. If you have a friend who is a diehard fan of Back to the Future, take this opportunity to share this broadcast. We'll try to get one or two more questions in with the great Bob Gale, co-creator of Back to the Future, 30th anniversary.
I'm going to talk about which is my favorite newspaper. I mean, we've seen the USA Today stuff, and you can see that pretty clearly in the movie. This is The Horrible World of Biff of 1985. Oh. And Emmett Brown committed, but this is the fun stuff. Nixon to seek fifth term. We're still, actually this is dated 1983. He vows to end the Vietnam War by 1985. And then this is the most fun stuff. Biffco. Biff has taken over the world in this
That's
universe.
Right.
So we've got Biffco headlines. Biffco takes over Lone Pine Mall. Hill Valley pollution alert.
Oh, they're loving this.
And then my favorite, Tannen birthplace declared national monument.
There you go. Is the movie coming out October 21st?
Yes.
There you go. Yes, there you go. Very good. So let's see. I'm going to look at. Oh, people keep asking about the original car. So the car that we saw over there, is that a?
That's a replica.
That's a replica.
There's lots of replicas. People like to. People that have DeLoreans say, "Hey, I want to have a Back to the Future DeLorean."
Right.
And they do them themselves, or there's guys around that can do that for them if you write them a check.
All right. So a reminder: the reason we're here right now, and the reason Bob has been gracious with his time, 30 years after the fact, 3 movies, all successful, and the 30th anniversary Blu-ray trilogy available the 20th, I believe, of October. And then guys, check your movie listing guides to be able to watch in theaters if you want. Let's see. What are they filming in the background? Actually, Bob's doing a couple of interviews here. How come you picked the DeLorean? Did we already take a stab at that one?
How can we pick the DeLorean? Because it was cool.
Right. It's cool. And people are asking about a Back to the Future 4. Bob already answered that one, but I'll let him go again. Oh, 2 thumbs down.
2 thumbs down. No Back to the Future 4. No Back to the Future reboot starring Justin Bieber or anybody else. Forget about it. Forget about it.
A question about Michael J. Fox and his selection. There was an earlier question about Eric Stoltz, I guess, as well.
Okay, I'll tell you what.
Here we go.
If you guys don't have the Blu-ray set, go get it and watch the documentaries.
There you go.
Because we cover this stuff in a lot of detail, and you actually see a couple of shots of Eric Stoltz in the movie.
Okay, that's awesome. A good reason to go get it.
Talk about another thing.
Yeah.
We have a new bonus 4th disc on the set.
Whoa.
There's a really cool featurette, 20 minutes, showing how we restored the DeLorean. It was in really bad shape, and we got a bunch of fans together to pitch in and figure out how to restore the DeLorean.
That is amazing.
And then there's an 8-minute little featurette with Christopher Lloyd as Doc Brown. It's called Doc Brown Saves the World, and Doc Brown explains why the 2015 that we have today is not the 2015 that you saw in the movies.
Okay,
so if you want an explanation that is super insane and crazy, and if you actually believed when you saw Back to the Future Part 2 the first time that you were watching a documentary, you'll need to see this.
Okay, 2 final quick questions, and then we got to let this man go. He's been very gracious with his time. Tell your friends to go check out the trilogy, guys, because this is amazing. Bob, first of all, do you own a hoverboard? Was a question from someone.
Well, the hoverboards that you just saw are mine. So do they work for real? Well, no. But I actually yesterday visited the folks up at Arcs Packs in Los Gatos, the inventors of the Hendo hoverboard, and so I can honestly say I rode a working hoverboard in October 2015.
Can we get a final? Well, someone's asking for a tour, which we did earlier, but we're out of time, so we're gonna walk for the next 30 seconds over to the DeLorean and end the interview.
Okay.
Someone was asking about whether or not you think the Cubs will win the World Series. Now we have to be careful here, because you know all that sports almanac betting and stuff.
Well, you know what? That's why we like postseason baseball.
Yeah.
I'm a huge baseball fan, and I think folks that know a little bit more about me know that I was born and raised in St. Louis, so I'm a diehard St. Louis Cardinals fan.
Oh, wow.
So wouldn't it be ironic if the reason that the Cubs end up in the World Series is because of a gag that was conceived by a St. Louis Cardinals fan?
Bob, you've already blown our minds too much over the last 30 years. Please try not to blow our minds more. Do you get any of that Back to the Future Pepsi? Or guys, take your final screen grabs of the DeLorean. There you go. Check it out. The flux capacitor, everything here.
You got the flux capacitors in the back.
Yes.
Sorry. Let's get it right.
Get it right. Let's show it to you guys.
It's fluxing too.
There it is. It's fluxing right now.
And here, this is the Part 1 version of the DeLorean with the plutonium chamber here and the big hook.
Amazing.
Now, it doesn't have Mr. Fusion. This is the pre-Mr. Fusion DeLorean.
All right, guys, go check out the trilogy. Available Blu-ray, 30th anniversary Back to the Future, and select theaters. Bob Gale, co-creator of Back to the Future. Thank you so much for your time. Everyone has been head over heels enjoying this, and we really appreciate your time.
Thank you, John. Thank everybody watching. I appreciate the fact that you love these movies so much, and that the love keeps spreading. Great Scott, and see you in the future.
Nice. On that note, guys, we're out of time.